All right, let's talk about something that drives pretty much anyone in IT completely nuts. The endless, overwhelming keychain of digital passwords we all have to carry around. We're going to dive right in.
You know the drill, right? You're trying to get your work done, and you're constantly playing this mental game of which password goes with which service. Is it vCenter, Horizon, vSAN? The list just goes on. And honestly, it's more than just a little annoying. It kills your productivity, and frankly, it's a huge security risk.
So first up, let's talk about the password maze. We need to get a handle on just how complicated this problem has become.
Yeah, this really sums it up perfectly. In any modern VMware environment, you can think of every single service, vCenter, ESXi, all of them, as its own separate locked door. And that means you're dragging around this massive, clunky digital keychain where every single key is another thing to manage, another thing to lose, and another potential weak spot.
But what if? Just what if you could replace that entire messy keychain with one single super secure digital master key? Well, that's exactly the promise of VMware's single sign-on.
So what is VMware SSO at its core? It's a centralized authentication service. The best way to think about it is as your single source of truth for who you are. You prove your identity one time, and SSO vouches for you across the entire VMware ecosystem.
Let's break down that term, authentication broker. Imagine you're walking into a huge office building with a really good security guard at the front desk. You show your ID to that one guard, they verify it, and then they give you a temporary access pass. That pass lets you into all the different rooms and floors you're supposed to be in for the day. SSO is that security guard. And even better, it can check your ID against your company's main employee database, like Active Directory.
Okay, next section, the SSO handshake. So how does this digital master key actually work behind the scenes?
It's basically a quick three-step dance. Step 1, you log into your vSphere client, just like you normally would. Step 2, the SSO service checks you out, confirms you are who you say you are, and gives you a secure, temporary digital token. This is that access pass from our security guard. And then, Step 3, as you go to access other VMware services, you just show them that token. They trust it because it came from the central SSO authority, and boom, you're in. No need to type another password.
All right, this is where it gets really good. Let's talk about why this is such a game changer. What are the real benefits here?
This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that tangled, chaotic mess of trying to manage every password for every service. And on the right, you see how clean and streamlined everything becomes with SSO. The difference is night and day.
And the contrast here is just so stark. The before world is full of password fatigue, right? Which, let's be honest, always leads to people using weak passwords and creating huge security gaps. For admins, it's a total management nightmare. But after you bring in SSO, you get a single, strong point of entry. Security is now centralized, which makes it way easier to enforce, and managing user access goes from being a major headache to a simple, streamlined process.
So let's just recap those core benefits. First, you get that unified login, one strong password for everything. The security gets a major boost because it uses these secure SAML tokens. Think of them as digitally signed, tamper-proof ID cards that get passed around. It plugs right into the directories you already have, like Active Directory, so you're not rebuilding anything from scratch. And all of this just leads to a much simpler management experience for everyone.
Okay, last section. Let's take this concept and see how SSO actually plays out in the wild in a few different real-world scenarios.
This table breaks down the different flavors really nicely. You've got your standard vCenter SSO, which is the workhorse for your core data center stuff, but then you have these specialized versions. True SSO for Horizon is fascinating. It actually makes it possible to have a completely passwordless login to your virtual desktops. And then Workspace ONE SSO takes that same simple idea and expands it out to cover all of your cloud and mobile apps. It creates this one unified experience no matter where your apps are running.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it? As our digital work lives just keep expanding, getting more and more spread out across different clouds and devices, it brings up a really big question. Is this idea of a single unified digital identity the ultimate key to unlocking both true operational freedom and real uncompromising security? It's definitely something to ponder.